What hair metal albums are 10 out of 10s? Find out right here in the Hair Band Basement. Welcome to the Hair Band Basement. I'm your host, Basement Brian. And tonight's it's a special episode. It's my 10th episode. Woo! I didn't think I'd make it this far. So I decided to go back to what I did in my very first episode and talk about 5 more 10 out of 10 albums. Let's get to it. The first album is from Cinderella. No. Cinderella from Philadelphia. Their debut album, Night Songs. Yes, these guys are from Philadelphia, home of Benjamin Franklin, Rude Fans, and Cheesesteaks. This album is a perfect example of never judge a book by its cover.
Man, that is flagrant false advertising.
Because if you look at that cover, it's all glammed out, but when you listen to this album, it is really goddamn heavy. I mean, this thing is, you look at it, you think you're gonna have another Poison type Look What the Cat Dragged In album, but nope. These songs are way heavier than that. And obviously, as a 10 out of 10 album, every song is killer. This thing did end up going 3 times platinum. One of their most successful albums, I believe, Long Cold Winter, also sold 3 million. I might be off with the numbers, but that was also very successful. And this thing, it seemed like it came out of nowhere. It just came out of nowhere. I remember when I was a freshman in high school, some of my friends were talking about this album, and they were making fun of another friend for not having it. And I didn't have the album at the time, and I was like, I better get this album before I'm the one who's in the center here getting made fun of. And I remember getting this thing and just being blown away. Again, I had no expectations, but I definitely didn't expect how heavy it would be. Let's go through some of the songs here. You have the singles, where you had Shake Me was a single that didn't do much, but Nobody's Fool, the second single, did very well. Great song. Somebody Save Me was also another single. And they also had the whole Cinderella thing throughout these dumb videos where you had like the one girl was literally Cinderella.
We're going to the Cinderella concert and you have to stay home.
And she couldn't get to the Cinderella concert because her 80s slutty looking step sisters were able to get tickets and she couldn't. That's the 80s. Cocaine makes these ideas become videos. Some of the more deeper tracks that are my favorites. Nothing for Nothing. Push Push is great. Once Around the Ride is fucking awesome. Back Home Again. Again, every song on this album is awesome. No skips here. A great album. I remember seeing these guys open up for David Lee Roth. It was Extreme, Cinderella, and David Lee Roth. All three put on a hell of a show. But when they did Nobody's Fool, they had a bunch of female background vocalists, and they just nailed this thing. Probably one of the greatest concert experiences I ever had. Just watching them do that song was unbelievable. Good stuff. Again, 10 out of 10 album. One of the more famous ones. People have heard this one. Great album.
That's a 10.
All right, so my next one, little lesser known band, though. If you like this genre, you've heard of these guys. I'm talking about the debut from Tyketto, Don't Come Easy, from 1991. It was 91. These guys were late to the party. I mean, it's like you show up and no one's there, and it's just a mess, and there's spilled beer on the rug, and there's chips all over the place and empty beer cans, and these guys just come walking in with a six-pack and going, where the hell is everybody? But if this album came out a few years earlier, I think it would have been pretty goddamn big. Every song is great. These guys are from New York City, home to the Statue of Liberty, rude Yankee fans, and the best pizza on planet Earth. Danny Vaughan, the vocalist, has an unbelievably good voice. It's too bad that shitty grunge came around and kept these guys from being really big.
Seattle!
Stop it! You're killing me! Seattle!
Too bad that grunge became popular and prevented this album from getting too big. I mean, grunge came in and made music unfun. So these guys didn't have a shot, especially being released in 1991. Even Geffen, the label they were on, kind of rejected their second album, and that didn't get released until 1994. What was the name of that? Strength in Numbers. So that they even put that off, and these guys, I mean, as good as this debut is, they didn't have a chance. They just didn't have a chance. It's too late in the game, and grunge was becoming way more popular by 91. Sadly, they didn't get the break they really deserved. This is a strong album. I mean, Forever Young was the single, and that had some success on it. Some success. I remember them being on Headbangers Ball, and they used to have a Headbangers Ball for a little bit. Had almost like a competition between two videos. And you would call in, and whoever got more calls won and moved on to the next week would face another video. So these guys were. I remember these guys going up against Tainted Angel by South Gang, but yeah, Forever Young, that should have been a big hit. If this album was released in like 1989, maybe it could have been big. The deeper tracks that I really like off of this one: Wings, Walk on Fire, Sail Away. A little bit, it has a song about the history of the band, really good. Standing Alone is a great ballad that would have been a huge hit in 1989, maybe even 1990. Such a great tune. My personal favorite from this album is Burning Down Inside, another great song. Yeah, these guys really deserved more. Such a solid goddamn record. Again, a no skip trip, all killer, no filler. Every single song on this album is fantastic. You want your AOR-ish pop metal here? Great stuff. Definitely check them out if you don't know about them.
You're goddamn right.
Another late to the party band. The debut by Kik Tracee, No Rules. I fucking love this album. One of my favorites. They only released this this is their only full length album they released, and it totally kicks ass. Great album. Actually, they didn't have the songs written before they went into the studio, so they were writing them and then recording them right then and there. Dana Strum from Vinnie Vincent fame and even more fame from Slaughter, the bassist from both bands. He actually produced this album. I heard he kind of fucked the band over in some way or another. I'm not sure what the story is behind that, so I'm not going to get into it. Don't quote me on that, folks. But it was supposed to be named Generation Express, named after one of the songs on the album, and the record label was like, nah, that's not rock enough. So I guess No Rules. Ooh, we're fighting the rules, because that's what rock does, despite the fact that music follows rules. So if you don't, then your songs are out of tune. That's a different story altogether. So they changed it to No Rules, and Steven Chiro's voice, the lead vocalist on this album, I like his voice. It's almost kind of like sometimes he has an Axl Rose inflection on his voice, but I really like it. He actually tried out for Velvet Revolver, the band with Slash, Duff McKagan, and Matt Sorum in it. There's another guy who fuck knows what that is. And he was actually passed over to Scott Weiland. I would have loved to hear what they would have came up with him. I know they could have put out more albums because he would have been alive. This is the only official full album by these guys, sadly. They did release Field Trip, which was an EP, not a full album, which people really like. There's some good songs on it. It's a little more mellow than this album, but I really would have loved to see where they would have gone with, though I believe their second album is out there online where you can listen to copies of it, but it never got an official release. All right, so some of the singles from this. Don't Need Rules obviously was the big single off this one. Big. It didn't go huge, but it was kind of successful. I mean, personally for me, I think it's the weakest song on the album. That's not knocking the song. That's just saying how great this album is. Unfortunately, and this is one thing that gets me with this song, if you ever hear this band anywhere, I don't know, on some show that plays hair metal or like, what the fuck, Hair Nation on Sirius XM, they're always playing this song and that's it from these guys. The whole album's great. Play something else. It's kind of annoying to hear the same one song from such a killer album. Um, some other personal favorites from this great album: Soul Shaker, Tangerine Man is really good. Velvet Crush is a great one. Rattlesnake Eyes in parentheses for reasons, Strawberry Jam, and Big Western Sky. One of the ballads off this, Lost is the other one, but Big Western Sky should have been a fucking hit. This song, it has hit written all over it, but again, late to the party, 1991. No one was really getting into ballads like they used to by hair metal bands from back in the day. These guys had a little different sound to them too. The music a little more complex. So yeah, I call them hair metal. I don't see what other genre they would fit in. But yeah, they should have been a lot bigger. But again, 10 out of 10 album, all killer, no filler. I just want to take a minute here, a little break from the action, to thank you all for tuning in and watching. I also want to plug some of my stuff that I got going on here as well. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at HB Basement, always talking music there. And you can catch my radio show on Stationhead. Download the app, put in Hairband Basement in the search, and you can listen to deep tracks from the greatest genre of music, hair metal. Now, back to the entertainment. All right, the next album, the third one in a row from 1991. A lot of good albums came out in 1991. It's the second album from Dangerous Toys' Hellacious Acres. Straight out of Austin, Texas. These guys, I love their debut. I would almost say it's on the same level as this, but then again, I think I'm kind of starting to lean more towards this album as a better album, though both are completely great albums. If I do another 10 out of 10 list, I can easily have the debut on there as well. It wasn't as successful as the debut that went gold. This thing didn't sell as much, which is a shame because it's just great. You gotta say though, the clown mascot, their albums is a great fucking mascot for a band. Just killer stuff. It's just, I would put it up there with like Eddie from Iron Maiden. It's just great shit. Maybe have them fight each other to the death, see who comes out on top. But I think it's a cool fucking logo, mascot. And Jason McMaster has a great gritty voice, one of the unique ones in this genre that really just gives punch to a lot of these songs. The whole band is great too, though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he did a cover of Def Leppard's "Let It Go" on a Def Leppard tribute album, and I like that better than the original. That's one of my favorite Def Leppard songs. I think he did such a great job on it. It's a little bit heavier, has more balls to it, and the original had balls to it. Really good. I always liked his voice. Let's look at some of the songs here. "Gimme No Lip" and "Line 'Em Up" were singles. "Gimme No Lip" was an interesting concept where it was about a girlfriend or his woman that wouldn't stop talking. Okay. Gee, I wonder why that wasn't a hit with the ladies. But there was one line that I always liked. It goes, "I once had a dream you couldn't utter a peep, but then you woke me up because you were talking in your sleep." I mean, and the other single was "Line 'Em Up," which is another great song. Unfortunately, again, they didn't really go far. 1991, you're coming off an album that only sold half a million. You weren't gonna all of a sudden explode with this, though it is a great album. Some of the deeper cuts I really like. "Sticks and Stones," great song. "Angel in You," that's Angel with the letter N and the letter U, great one. "Gypsy," in parentheses, "Black and Blue Valentine's," a great one. And I think their ballad, and you think about what Dangerous Toys is like, this is a perfect Dangerous Toys ballad. But the song "Best of Friends," that thing could have been a big hit. I mean, the content isn't about, oh, I love you, baby, or oh, you dumped me and my heart's all broken and I miss you. It's about a guy who has to go to a funeral for his friend who he hadn't seen in a while, and all he's got are the memories of them being younger and being kids, and playing and shit, just hanging out and doing what kids do. But he's got to talk about this stuff during a funeral, and that's all he's got. He hasn't seen the guy in years, so really good song. Um, Also, they have a cover of Bad Company's "Feel Like Making Love" on this, which I think is also really a really good cover. So again, 10 out of 10 album. All bangers, no clangers. Fucking great. Dangerous Toys, Hellacious Acres. All right, the last one I'll cover tonight. Chronologically, this is the latest release from all 5 of these albums, and I think it's the band's best. It is the 3rd album by Warrant, Dog Eat Dog, released in 1992. I mean, it's easily Warrant's best album. Fantastic, top to bottom. Again, that's why it's a 10 out of 10. It's not as glammy as the first 2 albums, Dirty Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich, and definitely not as glammy as Cherry Pie. It was, the 90s were, 1992, you're not having bands, or at least a lot of bands, not doing the same glammy kind of content that they did. And this is one of the few albums where bands kind of went a little darker and deeper and a little heavier, and they did it well. I'd put that up there with albums of the similar frame, like Psycho Schizophrenia by Lillian Axe, Pull by Winger, and Whipped by Faster Pussycat. All those albums, the band kind of matured, changed their lyrical content, went a little darker and heavier, and I think they did it really well. Others, they tried and it really didn't work that well. They tried to go grungy, or especially a couple years after this, a lot of bands tried to do the grunge thing to stay relevant and it didn't work. But this one, it's an unbelievable album. I think it's Janie Lane's best writing. Not just the songs themselves, but the lyrical content. All of it is just great. Machine Gun, Hole in My Wall, and The Bitter Pill were all singles. The choir that sings on Bitter Pill is a German section that's sung by a choir. The name of it was the Moron Fish and Tackle Choir. And it was just guys they got from around the studio, like engineers, janitors, security guards, whoever was available. Hey, sing this German part. They put it together like a choir. But that's a great song. That might have been the most successful one. There were 2 videos for that. One was the whole band that they did the actual song. The other one was Janie Lane doing it acoustically by himself. I still think it's a great song either way. Let's look at some more deeper tracks here, which are fantastic. Any one of these songs, great. Just great stuff. You have Hollywood, and in parentheses, So Far So Good. Great tune. All My Bridges Are Burning might be one of my favorites off this album. That should have been a single. That could have been a great single. Quicksand is another good one. I know those 3 songs go back to back to back. What a great run on an album. All 3 of those songs are great. Bonfire is a really good song. That, I think, could have been on Cherry Pie. It kind of sounds like that. That's the thing with this album. You had some that were really different from anything Warrant had done before. You had a lot of songs that went either heavier, or they weren't really what Warrant did in the first 2 albums. Like Hole in My Wall and Machine Gun are a lot heavier than what we're used to from Warrant. Bitter Pill was something different. You had April 2031, which was a completely different kind of song. Andy Warhol was right, covered something that you wouldn't think a hair band would sing about. Great stuff. One of my favorites is Inside Out. That's a really good tune also. They actually used to play that one on tour before the album came out. Sometimes would open with it. So they're playing a song no one heard about and opened a show with something that people are like, what the fuck is this? Supposedly it was Janie Lane. They had the music recorded, everything was done, but they didn't get any lyrics down and never did any vocals. They couldn't figure anything out. And supposedly, I think it was Janie Lane and the producer were out at a strip club, got drunk, and Janie Lane said, "All right, let's go do this song. Let's go do it." And in one take, he drunkenly wrote the lyrics for Inside Out and sang and recorded on them, and that's the ones you hear on the album. Okay, that's just insane to do. But I mean, again, this album easily is Warrant's best. Fantastic album. All right, well, that is 5 more 10 out of 10 albums. If you haven't heard any of those, definitely check them out. Great stuff. Let me go through all the usual YouTube bullshit that we all listen to at the end of videos or people say during these things. Like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, go to hell, or leave any comments down below. Where the fuck would it be? Here? I think it'd be more this way. I don't know where I'm pointing. I have no idea what this would look like. But leave a comment. If you agree with my list, you got stuff that you think are 10 out of 10s, maybe songs, maybe songs, the fuck am I talking about? I'm doing albums. Maybe albums that you think should be on a 10 out of 10 list that I could cover if I do this again. Just write something. Hey, let me hear from you. And I think that's it. And until the next time, keep your hair high and your metal horns even higher. Take care.
Brian, what the hell are you talking about? Oh, no.